Hey guys, Joe here with Reasonable Media, and today we're talking reasons why this Democrat thinks the Democratic Party as a whole needs to abandon the gun control issue. First off, it's never going to happen, and this is something that Democrats seem to have a hard time grasping. But listen, if the tragedies of the past few years have taught us anything, it's that it is never going to happen. If Sandy Hook wasn't enough to sway the national opinion in favor of gun control, nothing will ever do that. So it's a losing battle. And so what does that mean? It means the Second Amendment is never going to be changed through Congress or through, the president. There's just nothing they can do about it. Even if they really want to, there's nothing they can do about it. So what option does that leave? Well, that leaves the judicial branch, right? The Supreme Court. And the only way the Supreme Court could do anything is if they were to somehow all rule that the Second Amendment really does just pertain to a well-regulated militia. The trouble with that is that the moment that ruling is issued, that heavily armed and well-regulated militia is going to sprout up overnight. I'll be a member. Everyone I know, everyone I've ever met would be a member. And let's face it, a well-regulated militia is the very last thing the federal government wants. Okay, so next, the single-issue voter. There are a lot of people in this country who vote on one single issue. Whatever your opinion is on that one issue, that's how you're going to vote. For some people, it's abortion. For others, it's pot. And for a lot of people in this country, particularly the Midwest, it's the Second Amendment. And the thing about Democrats and gun control is, as far as political ideologies of the Democratic Party go, gun control isn't a necessary platform for them to have. What I mean by that is creating jobs. It's not a gun issue. Raising wages, also not a gun issue. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of these things that kind of define the core platform of the Democratic Party have nothing to do with guns. But because the Democratic Party takes this hardline stance on this one very big single voting issue, these other aspects of their platform lose votes. They don't get the backing that they would otherwise have because there's a lot of people who aren't going to vote for you if you don't back the Second Amendment. Even someone like me, who is a fairly liberal guy that traditionally votes Democrat, before I cast that vote, I'm going to look up your voting record on gun control. So if Democrats can't even lock down a Bernie supporter's vote because of gun control, how many other votes have they lost as a result of that one position? Which leads me to my next point, the blue wall. Many of you will remember in the build-up to the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party felt they had built a blue wall in the Midwest, an insurmountable wall that Republicans just would never be able to crack in states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Election night came and proved they were devastatingly wrong about that. Why? Because people in the Midwest like to shoot things. Whether it's, jugs of water in the backyard or just running some clips through your new gun at the range or getting up early to get out to your stand in deer season. That's what we do here. It's a big part of life in the Midwest. We don't have stores that are open, 24/7. We can't go to the coast and go surfing whenever we want. And when it gets cold here, there is not a whole lot to do. But buying guns, sighting guns, shooting guns, that's our hobby. So to take a position against that, I mean, you might as well try to ban euchre or dirt track racing or, mud bogging. You'd probably actually still gain more votes doing that versus going after guns. And the worst part about it, too, is that you're asking people to vote against their interests when? In November, in the middle of hunting season, when the fact that politicians are trying to take our guns is at the front of everybody's mind. That's when you want them to go cast a vote for Hillary Clinton. It's a terrible strategy, and it's a losing strategy, and it has been, and it's cost election after election after election. It's idiotic, and it should be abandoned. And look, I get it. It seems, radical, Democrats, to abandon gun control. But here's what you gotta understand. If they were to abandon it, yes, they would piss off some members of their party, typically on the far left. And for about a month, you'd hear nothing but howling from that part of your base. But those voters aren't just going to all of a sudden get pissed off and go vote Republican. They got nowhere to go, right? Maybe you lose 0.1% to the Green Party in the next election. But by and large, those voters aren't going anywhere. You know who might? Me. And everyone else I've ever met in the Midwest. Because we're going to think about it before we cast that vote. And so you risk losing, and in the 2016 election, you did lose your blue wall. And this one issue might have been all it took to secure that. And, as far as alienating members of your base go, the Democratic Party showed they're not above doing that, because in 2016 they ran the most toxic, least popular candidate in modern American politics, despite what their base wanted. So that's not a new move for them. And so I think if Democrats are serious about, gaining traction in these upcoming elections, if Democrats are serious about making change, they really need to look. They've lost their platform. They see the parties moving to the left of them. If they have any chance at, gaining, making political gains, they have to make changes. And I think gun control would be a good place to start. So that's my opinion. That's my list. Do you guys agree? Is there another reason you think Democrats should abandon gun control? If so, leave a comment below. Let me know. This is a relatively new channel, so every like, every comment, every share, every subscription really helps out a lot. I'm grateful for all of them. Keep them coming, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.